Hope you can see the screen. So, Sairam, can you see my screen?
SJP.
Okay. We
Yes,
are
sir.
okay. We are at the end of completion of this accounts payable module. We might hardly take 2 classes more for completion of accounts payable. It's a very big module, as I told you. We were left over with only 2 topics. It's prepayment invoice, or this is also called as prepayment invoice mechanism, and the one we left over with the credit notes and written orders and inquiries and reports in accounts payable. We'll see all of them one by one. So for today, let us discuss about this prepayment mechanism in accounts payable. Okay, we all know how to make a prepayment to a payment journal. Through a payment journal, I have already showed you how to make a prepayment. So while making the prepayment or advance payments, we just change it as a prepayment so that the posting profile will automatically change in the payment journal. I hope you remember that we have discussed earlier.
Yes.
And instead of accounts payable account, it would directly take prepayment account. And while settling it with the original invoice, so it will bring the settlement voucher for transfer of balances from one account to another account, or a balancing voucher. We have also discussed on that part. I also gave you an assignment that post it with different dimension values and try again. Hope you remember that too.
Yes.
Okay. So other than that, there is one more process in Dynamics called as prepayment invoicing. So what is prepayment invoice and how we can do a prepayment invoice, we'll see today. So prepayment invoice is also a kind of invoicing only. I mean, is also a kind of prepayment, but it's specific to a particular purchase order. So if we do prepayment invoice on a particular purchase order, you would do it for that purchase order only, or it will be linked to that particular purchase order. And while paying the purchase order, the amount that we already paid on the prepayment will be deducted automatically. So we'll see that how we can achieve that. For that, I think it doesn't work here in our legal entity. I'll navigate to USMF to work on it. So because it should need some supply chain setups, I should have done it, but it takes some time to do this hierarchy and all. I'll show you where it requires. So I'm just going to USMF. We'll do the regular purchase order process. Just that this process of prepayment invoice will get included. See, remember these steps. This is very important in interviews. They will confirmly ask this question: what happens when we do a prepayment invoice? So before doing a prepayment invoice, the prerequisite is that in accounts payable parameters, here in accounts payable parameters, under ledger and sales tax, here you have posting as well as prepayment invoice here. You can see. So this prepayment invoice, you have to give the posting profile as prepayment here, as I gave pre. Okay, this is a key point. And prepayment application policy notification or automatic, it is saying, will tell you what it is. I'll just keep it as notification. Okay, remember this is important. You should have a different posting profile. It's not compulsory that you should have a different posting profile, but basically they maintain a different posting profile as prepayment, which is other than a accounts payable account with a prepayment account to link it here. So I'll just go to USMF, and what I'll do is I'll go to accounts payable, all purchase orders to create a new purchase order. See, I'm here. I'll create a new purchase order. Select a vendor. I have many list of vendors here. I can select one of the vendor. So I'll select one vendor. Let me say this one, US 101 Fabricam Electronics. Selected it. Then select the site and warehouse. Yeah, it selected site and warehouse. Then that would be all. Just click on OK. You can select the delivery date if you want to. Not required. So it is created, purchase order number something here you can see 551, and select an item. You can see many items here in USMF because there are a lot of released items. I'll just select the Surface Pro 128 GB 1001. It's not a master, it's just a product only. See, I selected it. I'll select some 10 quantity suppose, and each of it costs $899 as you see here. I can change it if I want to change it. I can change it to $1,000 just for rounding it up. See here, I am buying 10 quantity of 1000. 1000 each, totally 10,000. Okay, and I'll just save this. No need to save, but I just clicked on save so that any the details will be saved. Yes. It's taking long time. So see here, this is a single line purchase order. If you want to see the totals of the purchase order, let me see if there are any automatic charges added. I'll just go to totals and automatically it shows the remaining balances if any other than this net amount. See, I see 10,000 and 10,000. So there is a cash discount code applicable. That's okay. We may or may not use the cash discount. I mean, if at all we are paying it in time, then we'll get the cash discount. I think that cash discount code is directly coming from the vendor. Let me see in the header level. Anyway, we can see cash discount. Price and discount, yes. Here it is 2%, 10 days. I'm just removing this cash discount code, okay? Not using the cash discount group. Then I'll save it. Go to lines again. Then I'll go to purchase order and totals once again. See, I see 10,000 only. There is no cash discount applicable. It's only 10,000. Now, what I'll do is I'll try to apply some prepayment on this purchase order. Okay, I'll try to apply some 10% prepayment or 5% like that. So what vendor said is you have to pay at least 10% of amount as prepayment before they deliver the goods. So for that, what we will do is we'll go here to purchase. Before confirming, after confirming also you can add prepayment, but I'll do it before confirming only. So here I can see this option prepayment under prepay under purchase. Purchase, prepay and prepayment here. Click on prepayment and you can give some name here like prepay 10%. Sorry, 10%. I'll just give a name. So here it is asking me, do you want to give some fixed amount or a percentage amount? Fixed amount means you can give like $100 directly fixed amount of prepayment amount. Or if you say percentage means you can give some 10%. 10% means 1,000 rupees of the amount. 10,000, right? The total line amount or the total PO amount, out of which you're paying 10,000, which means like 1,000 you will be the prepayment. Okay. And the prepayment remaining is 1,000 only because we just applied prepayment, but I mean just created prepayment, but we did not pay it, right? So it just shows us 1,000 remaining that we have to pay. Prepayment application remaining, it still shows 0% because it's not applied yet. And this is the area that I was saying that it doesn't work in our legal entity, prepayment category ID. So this prepayment category ID generally comes from procurement and sourcing module or product information management module. So you have to select one of the category here. So this is compulsory field, as you can see, it's marked in red. So this we can't create, or it takes time to create in our legal entity. So I shifted to USMF. I'll just select this one of the, I'll just select utility expenses or something. You can select anything in the prepayment category like this. So this is how I can give prepayment. Any doubt in this form? Any of you?
No.
Okay. So you can either give fixed amount or percentage for prepayment. So I applied $1,000 here on the purchase order. So I'll just save it here. You can see it's 10,000 and I applied prepayment of 1,000. Okay, I can again see it here. I can see this option remove prepayment also. If I click on remove prepayment, it removes the prepayment. That is, we have added right prepayment here 1,000. It will remove it from here. So it is asking me, do you want to remove the prepayment on this PO? If you say yes, yeah, it will remove the prepayment. And if you go to prepayment again, you don't see anything. So that's off. So again, I'll give this prepay 10%. Percentage 10,000. I'll give this ID, utilities, and go to OK. That's off and save it. Suppose if you feel like paying more than that, more than 1,000, you can again go back to prepayment, make some changes here if you want to. Okay. So I'll just keep it as it is. So that's how we can apply prepayment. So after applying prepayment, there is another process that we have to post a prepayment invoice, then settle the prepayment invoice as well. So I'll show you that next step. So it is clear right until here, application of prepayment or adding prepayment percentage or amount for all of you.
Yeah.
Okay. Saideep is here in class. Yeah.
Yeah, JP.
Is it clear?
Yeah, that clear.
Yeah.
Okay. So Seshu might be joining late. Okay. Well,
so you
okay.
continue.
No problem. So I'll confirm this PO. It's taking a long time for confirmation. Finally, it's confirmed. So the next thing is that not receiving goods. Okay. Before receiving goods only, you have to generate a prepayment invoice and make a payment, right? So you have to make payment to the vendor. That's our agenda. Before they receiving the goods or before the vendor deliver the goods, we have to make some prepayment. So for that, what I'll do is I don't receive the goods now. I'll just go to invoice here. Here I can see this option getting enabled, prepayment invoice. So under invoice, generate prepayment invoice here. Click on this prepayment invoice. It will create an invoice just like the normal invoice. See, it created an invoice just like a normal invoice, as you can see here. You can give an invoice number. I'll just give it as an prepayment invoice 22. And I'll give an invoice date as today's date. Okay, if I go to lines, I don't see item and all. I just see that category that I gave there for prepayment. I gave a category, right, like utilities, so I can see it. And it automatically takes one quantity only. How much ever quantity you have on PO, it doesn't take it. It just shows as one quantity only on the prepayment invoice line, and it will directly show the whatever is the prepayment amount. So it will bring up that prepayment amount or percentage amount that will bring according to the percentage. It will calculate and bring that amount. So the 1,000 is the prepayment amount, right? We have applied on the PO. So for that 1,000 only, we can see this prepayment invoice is created, and by status automatically shows as passed because that validation rule does not apply to prepayment invoice, because in prepayment invoice it doesn't include the prices and all, right? Just a kind of a dummy invoice or a representative invoice, not a complete invoice with goods and all details or charges and all. Just a invoice for prepayment. So it looks like the same, but just that you don't have any item details or any other thing. It only show quantity as one only every time, and it will show the amount of prepayment that you are going to pay. Okay, and you can post this invoice. So it is clear right until here for all of you.
Yes.
Okay, then I'll post this invoice. See, it is posted. You can see vendor invoice posting process is complete for vendor, and invoice number is this one is posted. So I'm again in purchase order. It is still a open order because we did not receive anything, or we did not invoice anything. It's just confirmed order. So here under invoice, I can see invoice journal where the invoice journal is activated. If I click on it, I can see the posted prepayment invoice here. So this is the invoice that we have posted. Let us try to see the voucher for this invoice. Okay, let's go to voucher here, and you can see the voucher here. See, prepayment other expenses is debited and accounts payable is credited. Prepayment other expenses is debited and accounts payable account is credited. Okay, so accounts payable account is the account that we have for the vendor in the general posting profile. Prepayment other expenses is the account we have in the prepayment posting profile. So it takes prepayment other expenses as debit and accounts payable as credit. I'll show you the accounting impacts as well. I'll just wrote them here. So prepayment, invoice, voucher. Okay. Prepayment expenses debited. Accounts payable credited. Okay. So just remember this voucher. So here for 1000, here for 1000. Perfect. Now let us go and do the next step. So after posting prepayment invoice, the next step is that you have to settle this invoice. You have to pay prepayment, right? So you just posted an invoice against the vendor. Prepayment invoice you have posted. You have to settle it or make the payment for the vendor against that invoice. You have to pay $1,000 to the vendor, right, for the invoice. So for that, in USMF only, I'm going to accounts payable. For making payments, we have to go to vendor payment journal. So I'm in payment journal. So in payment journal, I'll just click on if, go to vendor payment lines. So my question is, how do I settle an existing invoice for a specific vendor? What is the process that we follow through vendor payment journal?
We select the vendor.
Okay, select the vendor account. Let me select the vendor. Vendor is, where is vendor? This one. Fabricom Electronics, US 101. Then
We select transactions, settle transactions.
so click on settle transactions here. This vendor is having only one invoice pending, and that is what we have done, posted prepayment invoice 22. Right? we'll select that invoice for payment. So we have to make the vendor advance payment, right? So what I'll do is I'll select that invoice for payment. Selected, 1000 being debited for the vendor because we are paying him, and you can either pay it through a check or an electronic payment. I'll just select this electronic payment. Okay, and I can validate it and post it. Let me validate it first. If we would have missed any financial dimensions. Done. No errors, so I can post it. See, I have created a vendor payment journal, selected the particular prepayment invoice that against which I have to pay to the vendor. So I have paid it. So this step is important. You should definitely pay the prepayment invoice. Otherwise, that invoice is of no use. Even though you create a prepayment invoice for the vendor, that is of no use. So here it is paid. As you can see, payment is done. If you want to see the voucher for this payment, you can also see that voucher. So accounts payable is debited and bank account is credited. Let's see what happened. Accounts payable domestic. Okay, let's copy the same account here as it is. Just keep it here. Accounts payable domestic is debited. Bank is credited. So this is the payment voucher, isn't it? Thousand. Okay. So this is the payment voucher. Then this is the third step. So purchase order is done. Prepayment invoice was created and posted, and payment is also done. Now let us go back to the same purchase order here. So let us assume that the delivery date has appeared and the goods were being delivered by the vendor. So if goods were delivered, we have to do a product receipt. So I'll do a product receipt for the same. Give a product receipt number, just like it, 51 something. Scroll it down. Surface Pro 828 GB, 10 quantity of 10,000. Click on OK. So I have received 10 goods now. Done. Product receipt is posted. So I can see it somewhere here. Product receipt is posted. Then what I'll do is I'll do the invoice. See invoice. To do an invoice, you can just click on generate and click on invoice here. So invoice, generate and click on invoice. So it will generate the original invoice, not the prepayment invoice. Prepayment invoice is already done. It's the original invoice for our purchase order, not for the 10 quantity of goods that we have received. See here, as soon as the original invoice is created, you can see this option. That's notification. One or more pending invoice have unapplied paid prepayment invoices available to apply. Use apply prepayment form to apply prepayment values to the selected invoice. It is saying that there are certain prepayment invoices available, invoice or invoices available. You can apply that prepayment to this original invoice. So this notification is coming from the option that you have selected in the parameters. During the prepayment, there I showed you notification or automatic, right? So if I select automatic, that will get automatically applied to this original invoice. Prepayment will be automatically applied. But if I select the notification, means it will show this kind of notification and I can manually apply it. So I'll just go for invoice. I'll just give it as original invoice 51. Invoice number. And I'll give an invoice date as tomorrow's date, suppose. See here, I can see the invoice line 10 quantity, 1000 and 10,000 in this line. Okay. Other than this, I can apply this prepayment here by click on vendor invoice here. I can see apply prepayment option. Vendor invoice, apply prepayment option. Click on apply prepayment. So if I click on apply prepayment, I can see the prepayment invoices posted for the PO. You can also post multiple prepayment invoices. See, we have created for 1000, right? You can post one invoice for prepayment invoice for 500, another prepayment invoice for 500. You can also do like that. But I have posted a single invoice, right, for 1000 amount. So I can select that invoice for application of prepayment on this original invoice. So you can see the details here. Invoice amount is 10,000. Available application amount is 1000. Total application amount you have applied is 1000. Then you can click here, apply prepayment. Click on apply prepayment again. And now you can see the invoice line. That notification is gone. Come down. You can see this line is being added additionally to the invoice. See, the one quantity it is automatically showing, and it shows minus 1000 amount because it will reduce the original balance of 10,000, right? Because you already paid 1000 on this purchase order already. You only have to pay 9,000, so it reduces the prepayment amount how much ever you paid. Here it is showing as 10,000 and a negative amount of 1000. That prepayment line is automatically added to the original invoice here. Then I can update the match status. It's showing as failed. For some reason it is showing as failed. Let's see why it is failed. But is it clear until here? Application of prepayment for all of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, JP.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then let's see why it is failed. Let me go to this review. Matching details. Price not performed. Quantity not performed. Invoice totals. It's passed. Passed. Okay. Charges values. There are no charges at all. So it's passed, right? Why it is showing fail? Okay, for this line it is showing fail. It's passed. Quantity failed because we don't have product receipt quantity for it, right? For quantity only it is showing. Let's see what it does if I post it. It's not required, right? Matching policy. It's not performed, but here it is showing failed for this one. Product receipt quantity. We have received all 10 goods, right? Quantity. So product receipt is not automatically matched, I think. Let me go back. Actually, there is one thing that we missed. In this company, it doesn't automatically match the. Here you see this default from ordered quantity. It should be default from product receipt quantity when we have three-way matching in place. So by default, it takes product receipt quantity, but here it took ordered quantity. Now I'll select order product receipt quantity directly. Then, so prepayment is already applied, right? What happened? Prepayment is gone or what again? Yeah, it's gone. Let's remove this line and again add the prepayment here. Apply prepayment. Select the prepayment of 1000. Click on apply prepayment. Now it's here. Correct. Now update my status and passed. So my status only runs for this line. I mean the one with the original quantity and prices and all. But for prepayment invoice line, it doesn't really perform. You see, it's saying not performed. It's not required. But here it sees passed. That's only because of this one default from product receipt quantity. Now I can post this invoice. So let me post this. Seems like it is posted. See, operation completed, vendor invoice original is posted. And now this invoice status change, this PO status changed to invoiced. I can see that invoice here under the invoice journals. You can see two invoices, original invoice and prepayment invoice. So I will go for original invoice to see the voucher for it here. Choose a very big voucher. Not so much big. Okay. Let's try to decode this. So accounts payable domestic credited for 10,000, accrued purchases debited for 10,000. Okay, I don't see this product receipt voucher here. Did you see it? Why do you see this tangible fixed assets appearing here? Office supplies expense and tangible fixed assets. 1 second, guys. Just go back. Go back to receive product receipt journal. Voucher for this. Yeah, they gave tangible fixed assets account and accrued receipt. Something wrong with this voucher. Product receipt, they gave some different accounts for product receipt in USMF. I did not check it previously. That's okay. Let's try to take the details that we require from the invoice, the original invoice. Okay, voucher. Let me drag it in the others to the other side. I'll show you what it is. Come on. So here, accounts payable domestic, not this one. This right. Accounts payable domestic is created for 10,000, and but where is this finished goods quantity? Come on. This should be purchase expenditure for product, cost of material invoice. This should be the account 10,000. So it taking automatically the office supplies expense account. That's okay. Let's see this one. Accounts payable account and one inventory account. Assume that this is inventory account, office supply expense or inventory account. So this is the one, cost of purchase material invoiced. Okay, well, let me write down the voucher here. Original invoice voucher. I will exclude the product receipt voucher and I'll just make a note of it. Okay, here it's payable. Domestic is credited for 10,000. Okay, this is and inventory invoiced is debited for 10,000 here. This is one original voucher for the invoice. Let's see any other voucher as well. See, there is another voucher. This one, the bottom one, prepaid expenses being credited and accounts payable domestic being debited for 1,000 and 1,000. Okay, let's see that one as well. Prepayment expenses being debited for, sorry, should be credited, right? Credited for 1000 and accounts payable domestic is debited for 1000. So credited for 1000 and debited for 1000. So this is what we have. 1 second, I'll just go back to this prepayment voucher once again. But why I see accounts payable other account here? Vendor balance. Okay, let's see. Let's assume that this is accounts payable account only. Okay. Now this is the situation. These are the vouchers for various situations. So say this is for prepayment invoice voucher. This is for payment voucher for the prepayment. This is the original invoice voucher. So in the original invoice voucher, first let us see the original invoice voucher. You see accounts payable account, domestic account is credited for 10,000, also debited for 10,000. We can see both of them in a single voucher, which means now this account is only created for 9,000. So you can remove this debit balance of 1,000 right from this 10,000. So finally it will be credited for 9,000 only. Okay, and other than this, we have inventory received account debited for 10,000, prepayment expense account created for 10,000. So this prepayment expense account, actually you can say it in this way, this one and this one are getting reversed. The prepayment invoice voucher that appeared while you posted the prepayment invoice is being reversed during the original invoice. The same voucher here is getting reversed here. This one is getting reversed with this one. And you have this original voucher for the invoice. Accounts payable account created for 10,000, inventory invoice debited for 10,000. But you have already paid accounts payable. You have already made a payment voucher, right? Wherein accounts payable is debited for 1,000. So you are liable to pay only 9,000 more on this 10,000 that you have to pay. So that's what we have. Clear or confused?
Clear.
So clear for one. Saideep, Santosh, is this clear?
Clear, sir.
Can you please explain once the
Okay.
entry part?
So let me just explain you in this way. It would be better. When I post a prepayment invoice, this was the voucher. Prepayment expenses is debited, accounts payable is credited. Okay. When I make a payment for this, payment against this, I see accounts payable account is being debited for 1,000, bank account is being created for 1,000. Okay, this is the payment voucher. You know the payment voucher already. And coming to the original invoice voucher, this is my original invoice voucher. Accounts payable account created for 10,000, inventory invoice account debited for 10,000. We usually get this voucher, right? Every time we make original invoice. So instead of, keeping aside the reversal of product receipt voucher, we'll get this voucher. You know that. Is it clear until here?
Yeah.
Okay. So along with this original invoice voucher, you also see this prepayment invoice voucher getting reversed here because you have already paid it, right? So there is no need of this voucher anymore. So this voucher is all automatically getting reversed here. The same voucher we get here, the debit account is created, credit account is debited, as you can see here. So it is being eliminated. This accounting impact will become zero now. And this accounting impact, accounts payable account is created for 10,000, right? You have already paid 1,000 already on this. You know, you have already paid through prepayment. So now you have liable to pay only 9,000 against this invoice, right? So it shows only 9,000 again in the payment to be made. I'll show you how it shows. And through bank account you paid, so you have lost 1,000 of your bank. And inventory you received is for 10,000 only. Inventory is debited for 10,000 only. And accounts payable account is remaining with this two, like 9,000, 10,000, 10,000 credit you have, 1,000 debit you have. Finally, 9,000 credit will be remaining in the accounts payable account, which you have to pay to the vendor now, 9,000 amount. Here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Let's do something now. Let's make a payment for the original invoice as well. Okay. I'll just click on if, select vendor payment, go to lines, select that particular vendor, Fabricam, right? Let's see here, Fabricam Electronics. Go to settle transactions. See here, settle transactions. You see this invoice, original invoice 51, which is the one we have done. So you see the amount pending is only 9,000. It's because we have already paid a prepayment, right? 1,000. So that's why you'll get this amount 9,000. Select it, click on OK. And you got to pay only 9,000 for the invoice. So already you paid 1,000 as prepayment. The final amount will be 9,000 only. And you can choose the method of payment as electronic rather than check, because I don't want to generate check. And I can post it. It is posted and the invoice is settled for 9,000. Earlier you made one payment for 1,000, so totally 10,000 is settled. So this payment transaction, you can see the voucher again here. So accounts payable 9,000, bank account 9,000, right? So I'll just enter that one as well here. So move this. So now the original voucher is payable debited for 9,000, bank account credited for 9,000. So totally through bank you paid 10,000 and accounts payable account will be cleared. So here it is created for 10,000, right? It is debited for 1,000 here and debited for 9,000 here. Totally it will become 0 accounts payable account. Final, the remaining will be inventory invoiced will be debited for 10,000. Bank will be created for 10,000. That will be the final voucher or final accounting impact we have. Remaining everything will become 0. So this is what we achieve, right? Normally when you do any trade, inventory will be debited and bank account will be credited. That's what happened. In the meanwhile, we have all these entries for prepayment invoice. Clear for all of you?
Yes.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if the accounting impacts are clear, I'll show you how to create one more prepayment invoice, multiple prepayment invoice on a single PO. Okay, I'll just go to that topic then. There are no doubts. If you have doubts, you can ask again in the end of the class too. So it's not a payment journal, I'm sorry. I'll just go to PO. Again, I'll create a new PO from here. Select the same vendor, or I'll select this vendor, Acme Office Supplies, first vendor. Site and warehouse, yes. Okay. Select an item number, same item, Surface Pro. Quantity, select 5 quantity, and just give 1,000. Total of 5,000. Or I'll select 20 quantity. 20 into 1,000, 20,000 I'll get. So unit price, okay. Change it back to 1,000 again, 20,000. Save it. The details are saved. The purchase order is for 20,000 of 20 quantity, one each of 1,000. So to apply prepayment, I have to go to purchase here. Click on prepayment here. Prepayment. I'll just give a prepayment of 5,000. Earlier I gave percentage, right? This time I'll give fixed amount. Fixed amount of 5,000 here. 5,000 fixed amount. So I'll just select one prepayment category. I'll select the same utilities. Then I'll click on save. So this is how I apply prepayment. Once after applying prepayment, what is the next step, guys? So tell me the steps. First is create PO, fill the details. Next, on purchase, prepayment, add prepayment amount. So next step,
Confirm the PO.
confirm the PO. Let's confirm the PO. What is the next step after confirmation?
Receipt.
No, it's not receipt. We have to make prepayment invoice
Payment-
first and then
payment of
receipt.
prepayment.
So next is invoice and prepayment invoice, or you can say generate prepayment invoice. That will be the next step. So it is confirmed, as you can see here, confirmed. Go to invoice. Here you see the option prepayment invoice, right? Click on prepayment invoice. So prepayment invoice is generated here. I can see it. So I'll just give it as prepayment invoice 52/1. Okay, and I'll just give today's date itself. Here I can see 5,000 amount automatically appearing. But I want to do this invoice or make a prepayment on this invoice only for 3,000, not total 5,000. I'm only making some partial prepayment or a partial advance payment. So I just change the amount to 3,000 only, as you can see here, not 5,000. So what I'll do is next is I'll just post it. So I'll post it. So that prepayment invoice is posted for 3,000. If I go to purchase again here, if I go to prepayment again here, I can see here the value was for 5,000 earlier. Prepayment remaining is 2,000, means there is a prepayment invoice already for the remaining 3,000. Correct? So that's why it is showing pending prepayment remaining is only 2,000. Okay. And before that, I'll show you something else. You can also check it. Actually, I'll just remove this journal. Check the prepayment invoices here somewhere. So under invoices, I should see prepayment invoice, or no, under invoices or payments. I don't see this menu here. Yeah, here I see. Under purchase orders, I can see open prepayments. This one. If I click here, I can see this open prepayment invoice, right? So there is open prepayment of 5,000, out of which there is a prepayment invoice raised but unpaid prepayment amount of 3,000. Remaining amount to invoice is 2,000. Prepayment amount original is 5,000. So this is showing up here in the open prepayments option. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll do one more prepayment invoice for this same. So for the remaining 2,000 balance, I'll do one more prepayment invoice. If I click on invoice, I can again see this option available, prepayment invoice, because prepayment amount is still pending. So I'll do this prepayment invoice once again. Give it as prepayment. So I'll just give it this invoice 52/2. Yep. Invoice date, I'll give tomorrow's date. So I assume that we are doing this invoice tomorrow. Here you can see in the line only 2,000 is appearing. It's because You already made an prepayment invoice for 3000, right? There is the available remaining prepayment available is only 2000. So automatically it takes 2000. You can reduce it to 1000 and you can make one more prepayment invoice for the remaining 1000 later if you want to. It's up to you. But I'm doing complete 2000 here in this post and I'm posting it. So this giving the invoice number is important. Remember that. Now I have two prepayment invoices. So how I can check prepayment invoice or invoices posted here in the PO under invoices under journals I can see here. Prepayment 52 by 1, 52 by 2 for 3000 and for 2000. You can see both of them. And go to open prepayments here. If you refresh it, you can see a single one only actually. It's not showing invoices, it's just showing the open prepayment. See here, prepayment amount is 5000, remaining amount is 0. Unpaid prepayment is 5000. These are open prepayments because you have added prepayment to the PO, but you did not paid it. So that's how it shows here. If you pay it again, it doesn't show up here. So we'll do that now. What we'll do is we'll make a payment for it. Once after paying this total 5000, we'll come back again to the two menus into the purchase order as well as this open prepayments. So how do I make a payment for both of these invoices? Anyone?
Payment journal.
Accounts payable, payments, payment journal, create a new journal, vendor payment, go to lines, next. What next?
Select the vendor.
Select the vendor. So the vendor name is, select the vendor, Acme Office Supplies. He's the vendor for whom we have done the PO and the prepayment invoices for. Select settle transactions. There are a lot of invoices for this. So how do I see my invoice? How I can identify my invoices? Which invoice that I have to settle? So invoice number and post date actually. So you can filter it with invoice number if you want to. Just give it as pre, contains pre. So there should be only two invoices containing pre, 52 by 1 and 52 by 2. I can settle one invoice first, or I can settle both the invoices at a time. It's my wish. So I'll just settle both the invoices at a time here. Or I can settle differently also. So I'll show you how differently it can work or different methods. See, I have selected single invoice only here. As you can see, 3000 amount. One sec. And I'll click on OK. The other invoice I'm not settling. Okay, remember that. So just change the method to electronic and just choose the bank account for payment. Okay, 3000. And I'm posting it. See, I posted it, right? Now I'll go to this open prepayment and I'll refresh it. You can see here, prepayment amount is 5000. Unpaid prepayment is 2000. Unposted paid amount is 3000. The amount of a paid prepayment invoice that is not applied to a posted invoice. We did not apply it right to original invoice. So that is why it is showing unposted payment amount of 3000. Now what I'll do is I'll receive the goods partially. So this payment that I have done or this invoice, this prepayment invoice that I have done is for partial payment. Okay, I would say for partial receipt of goods. So there are 20 goods, right? First, the vendor is sending 10 goods only. Remember that. So what I'll do is I'll go and receive those 10 goods. Click on receive, product receipt. So I'll just give it as PRN 52/1. Okay, I'm receiving the goods and I'm receiving only 10 quantity, not 20 quantity here. Then I'll click on OK. 10,000 amount only, 10 goods only, right? I believe that the under delivery parameters are not 10. Right, it is posted. Product received for 10 quantity. You can see here. So you can see the lines here. Product received for out of 10 quantity, only 20 quantity, only 10 quantity is received. Remaining quantity is 10. It's showing in the product receipt journal. Now, what I'll do is vendor had sent me the invoice for this 10 goods. And I'll do the invoice for this 10 goods, the original invoice for this 10 goods. Now, go to invoice, go to generate invoice. So it says something notification. I'll just give the number here, original invoice 52/1 here. Default from product receipt quantity. Change it to product receipt quantity. Yes. So it is saying this notification that there is a pending prepayment available. So if I go down, I can see only 10 quantity because in my product receipt I received only 10, right? So it automatically shows 10 quantity here. Now we will need to apply the prepayment, right? So what I'll do is I'll click on vendor invoice, click on apply prepayment here. So I can see only one prepayment here. Why I don't see the second one? Any idea, anyone?
We haven't done the prepayment for another 2000.
Correct. We hadn't done the settlement for the other prepayment invoice. So it only shows the prepayment invoices for which you have done the settlement. If you don't do settlement, it doesn't show here. Remember that point too. So I'll select this prepayment 3000 invoice, click on apply prepayment. I can see it here, 3000 applied, minus 3000 is applied, and I can click on update my status. So it is passed and I can post this original invoice. So it says there is an error. Reversal denied. Transaction is in a previous accounting year. Ledger transaction type vendor cannot be reversed. What is it? Not sure. Previous, which transaction is in previous accounting year? Go to invoice, posted invoice. 21, posted in this year only, right? And this year only. Let's see. Go to pending invoice again. So when it is not posted, it shows in the pending invoice, as I told you. I'll go to edit once again. Mass status has been set to update mass status. Passed. Not good, right? It worked previously, but why it is showing error here? Let me try to post it once again. No, the same error. The ledger transaction type vendor balance for the account cannot be reversed. Let's do one more thing then. If it's not working, I'll just go to edit, edit the same invoice. What I'll do is for this original invoice, I'll just deduct this prepayment, apply prepayment I have given, right? I'll off this, turn off this, and I'll save. I'll go back. So the original invoice, this one is not gone. Here I'll just remove this line itself. It's not going to. Remove it, right? Apply prepayment. Select it. Oh, click on apply prepayment. Yep, now it's gone. Then what I'll do is I'll update my status. I'll post this original invoice for 10,000 directly without applying prepayment. Again error.
Maybe right now it is showing utilities again.
No, it's not refreshed. Okay, it's not about that. It's saying reversal is denied. Let the transaction type vendor balance account cannot be reversed. So it seems like a bug for me. No logic at all. This error doesn't really give any logic. Last time when we did the original order, it posted, right? I mean automatically, but why it is showing issue for this balance for account? So is it because for a different vendor? Let me see what this account is up to. Give me a minute. This. Accounts payable other. It is here. Seems like an issue only. Well, let's do something else. Let's make the vendor payment for the other invoice as well, and let's try to see how it works. Let's make vendor payment, go to lines, go to the other one as well, Acme supplies, settle transactions, go for the other invoice as well, repayment number 2, click on OK, 2000, go to check, change it to electronic, post, posted, go back, go to receive the other 2 quantity also that is pending on this PO. So PRN 52 divided by 2 by 2, go down 10 quantity, 10,000, okay. Received all 20 goods now with 2 product receipts. Perfect. Then I'll go to invoice. I'll go to pending invoice. I'll just edit this. Delete this invoice. So this is deleted. If I refresh this, I don't have any more pending invoices. I don't have any pending invoices. Now I'll create new invoice. For all 20 quantity, I'll do the invoice. Okay, should be original. Invoice 52, single invoice date of 21.
20 quantity, each of 1000, 20,000 product receipt quantity. So okay, apply prepayment. Here I'll apply prepayment. I can see two prepayments here for 3000 and for 2000 since both of them are paid. Click on apply prepayment. 5000, 3000, 2000 both are applied. Okay, now I can update my status. It is showing passed. Then I'll try to post it. If it doesn't work, we'll do something else. It's posted. Seems like that was a bug only. See both this, when I applied both of them, it's posted actually. Now if I go to invoice and go to invoice, I can see 3 invoices. 2 prepayment invoices, 1 original invoice. And on the original invoice, we can see the pending balance will be something like, I'll show you. For the original invoice, I'll go to accounts payable, all vendors. This is the vendor, right? Acme Office Supplies. I'll go to transactions. On that, I can see the original invoice 52 here. So you can see this is for 20,000, out of which you have paid 2,000 and 3,000. So we paid it in, so what is the currency for this? We did it in USD only, right? No, yeah, US dollar only. Right, 20,000, out of which 3,000 and 2,000 are paid. And balance it is showing 14,974.87. Why so? Do we have any discounts applied on this? The balance should be 15,000, right?
We paid already 5,000, right?
Yes, on 20,000 we paid this 5,000 already. Let me go to settlement, click on settlement history. It's because it automatically applied the discount for these prepayments. See, suppose that, let us assume this invoice is for, let's go for this. Suppose let us assume this invoice is for 20,000. Okay, and for this vendor, right, this vendor, right? So I'll show you. There should be a default discount code somewhere. Let me see where it is. There is a 0.5% discount. Okay, if I pay in 10 days. So let's calculate that. 20,000 into 0.5%. Why is it showing this? 20,000 into 0.5 percentage. Come on. So I'll just 20,000 into 0.5 divided by 100. So it should be 100 discount if at all I pay in 10 days. If I pay all the 20,000 within 10 days, I'll get 100 discount. So normally I should pay only 19,900 and 100 is the discount. But out of this 20,000, I partially paid, right? I partially paid 5,000. 5,000 means 4% on 20,000. So the discount amount normally on 20,000 was 100. So out of this, I should get 4% discount, I think so. So it should be 5,000 and 20,000 is 4% only, not 4%. I'm sorry, I just lost the accounts also. It should be 25%, right? So I should get 25% on this 100 also. 25% on 100 means it should be 25 only, right? So I should get 25 discount. Did I get 25 discount for the paid already paid amount? So back. transactions. Original invoice is 20,000. So yeah, I got it. I mean, almost like 25 here, right? It's rounded off to 87. So means it's like 25 only. It's 24 point something we have paid. Almost it is showing that like 25.13 or something. So that's what it has done. So on this 5,000, it automatically took this 25 discount on this 5,000 amount. Actually, we paid separately, right? 3,000, 2,000. That's why we have that rounding difference. Okay, that discount amount system automatically took for that 3,000 and 2,000 and adjusted it. So you can see here on settlement, select the original invoice, click on settlement and settle transactions. Sorry, not settle transactions. Settlement and settlement history. You can see 3,000 and 2,000 for which you have additional 10 plus 15, $25 discount added for settlement. So that's why it is deducting the $25 from the amount. So here we calculate 25, right? So rounding up, it is almost showing in the cents. $25 discount is being added up. And remaining $75 discount also we'll get if at all we pay it in 10 days. So if you pay it in 10 days, you can pay only 14,900. 75 will be discount, right? Accordingly, we'll get 19,900 only because 5,000 you already paid. 14,900 you have to pay now after deducting that 75. If at all you pay it in 10 days, the remaining amount. So that's how it works, the discount. For that, we have some parameters. Apply cash discount on partial payments. We have one parameter. I think that is being applied and automatically for partial payments, discount was already calculated or already deducted. So the balance amount is showing us this much. That's what. Clear, guys? All of you? If it is clear, yeah, we'll just write down the process here. Invoice, generate prepayment invoice. After generating prepayment invoice, create a payment journal. Prepayment invoice is the option. Next, after that, receive goods. Also call it as post product receipt. Next one is once after posting product receipt, you will get invoice. Generate original invoice. Apply prepayment. Post original invoice. So these are the steps for achieving this prepayment invoice. Just paste them here. Also, I'll paste these entries. This is also for your reference. So that would be all. We'll just stop this recording.